For many Americans who support the war, there's not enough attention given to what they would call the good things happening in Iraq. In other words, they see the U.S. media as portraying the bombings, the number of deaths happening, but there's no attention given to things that are being constructed or built, reconstructed, whatever. How would you respond to this?
Well, again, it's a pity, and the media has a very, very strong role in this, because there have been no good things that happened in Iraq. What good thing has happened in Iraq? Rebuilding? That's a lie. There's been no rebuilding. Some hospitals and schools got a facelift, if you will, a little paint work and plaster. And millions of dollars have went to the pockets of big corporations over here, while the Iraqis are doing no work or very meaningless work that doesn't pay. And it was rewards really to the Iraqis from outside, like from America, who helped the occupation. I mean, I don't want to name names, but just follow the money trail. You'll see different people who got a lot of kickbacks for being on the side of the occupation. So there has been no rebuilding. No, there has been more destruction. I mean, just if you look at Baghdad, you see all these concrete barriers all over the place, littering the city. If you just count just the concrete alone, it's enough to build 100 hospitals or schools. It's in barricades. And then you look at the hospitals, they're same old, nothing happened. And their equipment is terrible, and it's basically genocide. I mean, visiting death and destruction to the area and not allowing anything to get better. And if they want to talk about the elections, for example, that served as a divider between Iraqi people. There were no candidates that are standing for all of Iraq. Maybe on the surface, Al-Jafari and company showed that they want to unify Iraq, but in reality everyone voted for their group, their little clique, so it served as a divider. Furthermore, a low percentage participated, and there was so much fraud, it's unbelievable. I mean, the Kurds make up maybe 20% of Iraqis at best, and they have 33% of the votes. I mean, that right there tells you something. In general, the Iraqis that did in fact vote, they voted against the outside terrorists. They would not be intimidated, and they voted to say, okay, we'll have a government and it's time for the occupation to go. That's the motivation for them voting. So no good things have happened. And then finally we hear so much about the Constitution. When you look at the Constitution, Iraq already has a Constitution. They don't need a Constitution. Perhaps omitting the amendments that Saddam's regime made, they could do that, but they don't need a new Constitution. The new Constitution is basically a document that divides Iraqis, and the people writing it are looking out for their own small interest and whatever interest their outside backers, and no one has the interest of all Iraqis at heart. And the Iraqi people know that, and they're fed up. And finally, no government anywhere in the world or international institution will recognize a constitution written under occupation and under duress. So what's the point? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, these are perspectives that you hardly ever hear, or perhaps never hear, from our mainstream press. We're just assuming that the previous Constitution was worthless, and you have to start from the beginning again. So your perspective, I think, is very welcome.
Well, that presumption is also absurd. I mean, if you want to look at it, Iraq wrote the first constitution ever in Hammurabi's code. I mean, look, these people have known how to get along from the beginning of time. When you look at the agriculture, you look at the first city, it took a lot of people to get together to figure out an elaborate irrigation system. I'm talking thousands of years ago. Mm-hmm. They had to have the engineers, the designers, the workers, and who gets what water, and find a way that everyone will get water and have his crop grow. So they know how to negotiate. There always is a balance. There's always right and wrong, and right has to ultimately overcome. So they don't need someone from outside imposing a new morality on them of I'm not sure what, death and destruction and fanaticism. After all, they've been there first, and for sure they'll be there last.
Mm-hmm.